Hello, debt-free degree beloveds. Y'all, I have had this lady on my list of folks that I want to interview for quite some time. She and I have actually known each other. I want to say, Tanika, it's been like almost 5 years. It was really, really early on when
Yeah,
Aunt introduced us.
yeah.
And she is just doing amazing things with her college consulting business. So I reached out and asked her if she'd be a part of the Pontification with the Pro, and she has said yes. Yay. So, with that, Tanika, just tell us a little bit, just a little bit about you and your college consulting business, and then we'll dive in.
Yeah, yeah. So, I'm in Colorado and from Ohio originally. Out there, I was a teacher, and so lifelong educator. It's what I've always wanted to be. I knew I wanted to be in education from very young age. And then I was a high school English teacher, and essentially, I'm sure we'll get into it more, but in so many words, as you know, just noticed. I just think there's this gap in the world where there's so much people don't know. There's misinformation. I mean, I hear all kinds of stuff, and just kind of realized that as I was helping these teenagers as their English teacher. First, it was their college essay, and then kind of spiraled into more things. So when I moved to Colorado 5 years ago, I also started my business, just wanting to help people figure that process out. So yeah, 5 years in now, and you're right. We met like not too long after I got started. So this is super fun.
Yes, 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 yes. So, the name of your business is Cardinal College Consulting, right?
Mhm.
And
Yes.
I'm all about red and black because, as from a debt-free degree perspective,
Yeah.
I'm like, do you want to graduate in the red or do you want to graduate in the black?
Mm.
And so, I'm just curious if there's a special meaning to the Cardinal Consulting or how
Yeah.
you chose that.
Yeah. It's funny as the English person, I took way too long probably picking a name. I was just what about this? What about that? All the things. And essentially, cardinal, I actually have a little blurb on my website about the symbolism when you see a cardinal, but there's a lot to it. Some is like a fresh beginning. And then I started realizing, okay, also cardinal, there's the bird, which has symbolic meaning. And then I also was thinking cardinal direction. So my goal is to help students, find their direction. And then, I mean, this is kind of minor, but again, being from Ohio, it is the state bird. So it kind of just all, and again, I liked the red. I think it's, powerful and it's
It
bold. And
is.
I want these students to, step into their boldness. So yeah, there's more on my website too, but there is actually more symbolism than I think people realize when I was choosing that name.
Yeah. Well, I love, love, love hearing how people arrive at something like that. And so that's always so powerful. So tell us, who is your who is your ideal family to work with? And I do say family because you're very holistic, very inclusive
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
your perspective.
Yeah. Any family who one prioritizes education, because I always say, and I don't want to go off on a tangent, but certainly, I do not consider my job to convince a student to go to college, right? If they don't think it's their path or they prefer, more of maybe a trade school route, even or something like that, I'm not here to be like, needs to be this 4 year degree at all. So, first and foremost, a student and family that want that. They know they value that, they want that bachelor's degree or higher. And then I would say, I mean, from there, it's really people that see this as a team effort. So the extremes are people that, even though if they were to hire me, but then they still are kind of trying to do it on their own, so they do need to, I guess, maybe give up a little bit of some of that tempting control to trust an expert. And then also some people at the opposite end of a non-ideal client too would just be like, I'm doing it for them kind of thing. So again, seeing this as I'm just a member of their team. We're also working together. I'm not making decisions for them, but providing guidance, a sounding board, all of that. So, and especially with what you do with debt free degree, for me too, I do span, all kinds of families. There are the families that their number one concern is money. There are families that, yeah, they don't want to pay, I won't name drop, but some of the schools that are pushing six figures a year, but they
Right.
have actually saved and do have a healthy budget. So either of that, I can serve all of those families.
Mhm. And what I'm finding too, Tanika, is I'm finding more families who are saying, I want to work with debt free degree because while we have saved a good amount, I'm not
Mhm.
sure it's enough. As you mentioned, who knew 18 years ago that you might need to save 400 grand?
Right. Oh my God.
for a 4-year degree. Number one. Number two, there are all these different paths to a debt-free degree. And so
Yeah.
some of that you can save that money and put it towards, helping them buy a car at graduation or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I'm seeing more of that, more people investigating. And I think that's what's happening with you as well, is people are, it's almost like decision fatigue,
Yeah.
and having you as their decision Sherpa, helping
Mhm.
that you help them navigate that process. Can you tell like a story about that, or like your favorite success story, or
Uh,
stories, or I mean,
yeah.
I could just listen to you talk about it. So
It's funny you use the word Sherpa because I use that sometimes too. Like I kind of said,
oh,
am I going to make decisions for you? No, but it is nice to have someone. I'm emotional in the sense of, I work with these students and families for years. I'm invested. I know their hearts. I know that they're good humans, and sometimes maybe if results aren't always what they want or this and that. I'm emotional to a point, but I'm still not them. I'm still not their parent. So I'm never going to be as emotionally invested in them. So it's nice to have someone who can kind of do that mix of logic and emotion, where sometimes families are just so emotional, which I get. I totally understand. So let's see here. I mean, so many stories. I mean, I would say most recently, honestly, that a young lady this year, she got into two options. Well, she was down to two options. She got into more, and essentially one was double the price tag. But it was, I'm sure you hear this, the quote unquote dream school, which
yes,
again, tangent for another day. I don't love the phrase for so many reasons, but
yes, yes,
it was her dream school, and then another option, which is quality education for sure. And quote unquote dream school was twice as much. And she was wrestling with that of like, but it's everything I've ever wanted, this, and that. And then there's this option. And I think she just got a little, you know, blinded by the shiny object of, she almost thought she couldn't even get in. So I think she had told herself, I'm not going to even get in. So then I have this other option and I'll be good. Well, when she did get in, but then with no money off, no discount, and this huge price tag, even though, like you just said, her parents had saved, they did not save enough for full price. And they did tell her, we'll support you, but you're on the hook for the rest. And
mhm,
that was a very like, mentoring opportunity where again, I was very delicate of, it is always going to be your decision. She was 18, and let's have this conversation. Do you understand what tens of thousands of dollars in a monthly payment looks like? Things like that. So she did end up choosing the more affordable option. And, we talked about all the other stuff, right? Like, what about maybe grad school there? Or,
right,
I mean, just, you don't, so many things.
right.
And I'm so proud of her because it was a very adult, mature decision. And I know she's going to be fine because, as I'm sure you know too, right? The student makes the school, not the other way around. She'll
That's
she'll
right.
thrive, she'll do amazing. But that was probably most recent, is fresh in my head too. But it was amazing to see and be able to talk to her through, all of it, pros, cons, weighing all of those options.
Right. I'm writing that down. The student makes the school, because I've heard versions of that, but I am going to quote you on that.
Thank you.
Because I love the way you put that. I
Yeah.
fumble around when I say that, and I love it. So I will be crediting you with that.
It's so
I
true.
I love that because number one, she chose a debt-free degree, which is amazing. And number
Yeah.
two, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
Putting yourself on the hook for all of that debt for an undergrad, when perhaps there's more education down the line.
Yeah.
I know even myself, I my parents said we don't go into debt for education. I mean, that's just what they told us. And so
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that they did,
Hmm.
because I did my undergrad at a very reasonable in-state institution. And
Hmm.
then my master's degree came about, Tanika, in like seriously like 10 days. Like I
Oh.
got an email and it said, we have a few more slots in this fully funded master's program.
Amazing.
And if you can submit GRE scores, which thank goodness I had taken at my
Yeah.
undergrad, otherwise I wouldn't have had it. My son was 4 months old. He was not even sleeping through the night. It was 1999, and this was an online master's degree, and which was
Wow.
completely unheard of. And so
Yeah.
I literally fell into that. I was like, okay, I can do this. It was hard, but I did it. And then, so for my PhD, I was like, I want to go to my dream school and get my dream, degree
Yeah.
in, for my PhD. Kind of the same thing. It was, we're starting this PhD program in a month and a half. And
Mm,
because you work for the university system, then your tuition will be free. It was not necessarily the school I wanted to go to. It was not necessarily the degree I wanted to go to. But you know what? It was a debt-free PhD. And
hmm.
so, I'm no less Dr. Roz because I
Right.
attended there versus
Ooh,
the Scoop to Do Dream School that would have
yeah,
been, I'd probably still be paying on. So, you know,
seriously.
I
Seriously.
love your counseling on that. That was good. And letting her make that decision.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's it's really important how we interact with teens. I think they're the coolest age group. And I know other people think I'm crazy for that, but they are this just little mix of they are adults at a point, like age-wise, if we want to define it by 18, whatever. I mean, but there's still so much they don't know. And but they want to know, right? I think
Right.
they're curious. I mean, gosh, some of these young people I have, I mean, they're investing. I'm like, I just was figuring that out at like 25. What is happening?
Right.
They're motivated, they're awesome. And they are still young.
Yeah.
And I think it's almost an art, honestly, how you speak to these young people, but it
Yeah.
is that perfect balance you need to strike of letting them know this is your future and it's your life, and your parents and I and your friends, no one can really make these decisions but you. And we
Right.
can advise you, and I think then that gives them the sense of empowerment and then feel safe to listen to the advice, and doesn't make them feel cornered, like this is what you have to do, and like that urge of a teen maybe to fight back. I think, yeah, it's really important to just strike that balance with them.
Yes, 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 yes. Well, even I am envisioning a debt-free degree club at every middle
Mm,
school and high school in every community in the nation. And a lot of people
amazing.
are so surprised about the middle school component. That's actually my sweet spot. That's actually
Yeah,
really where I want to catch folks because
yeah,
if I can get them in middle school intent on earning a debt-free degree, then every one of them will do it.
yeah.
Every single one.
Absolutely. I was reading about it in your book. You're right, because that again, that I'll just pick on this dream school saying now, if they don't find me until they're a junior or something like that, and they already are coming to me with this list of these schools, and I don't want to name drop them again, but it just,
Mhm.
yes, it's the 5, 10 they've grown up hearing of, but not understanding there's thousands, quite literally, of other options.
Mhm.
I agreed with you that education in middle school, I think, yeah, you got to get in there.
Yeah, yeah. So speaking of that, you said when people find you in their junior or senior year, what is your preferred time frame to work with folks?
Yeah, so preferred would be a little earlier than that. Ninth or 10th grade, I feel like are decently similar of, what you just said. Like, let's hit them early enough where we don't really need to be overthinking all their schools and applications, but there is that education mentoring chapter where, again, setting the stage of what does this all look like and really how pricey is some of this, and these acceptance rates that are dropping every year at certain
Yes.
schools and all of these things. So ninth, 10th grade is more preferred. And then there are some nuances that I don't want to fear monger, but there are some things where, just we'll just use engineering very quickly. Colleges generally are going to want to see advanced math and advanced sciences. If the school counselor is advising them for graduation requirements, which is their job, so they're not doing anything wrong, but maybe not factoring in some of
Mhm.
the students' interests and just putting them like, oh, you're in this math class, like good to go. They might not get in those advanced classes by senior year because there's prerequisites. So that can be a nice reason to start some of this sooner. Again, we're talking a few meetings a year. We don't need to take the joy out of being a young person, but sometimes a little early again for that education and making sure they understand the process as a whole is really nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, is all of your consulting and counseling, is it all one to one, like one to you and the student or you and the family? Is there a group
Yeah.
coaching involved?
Yeah. Right now I'm still doing all one-to-one. I
Okay.
really love that. I love the personalization. I love the relationship I get to build with both student, family. As my business is kind of in a growth, growing and, a chapter, I do see maybe, for a reduced price doing group sessions in the future for sure. I do not have that at all fleshed out yet though, so I probably shouldn't even talk about it. In short, yes, I do all one-on-one support right now.
Yeah. I think that's part of your magic. I know you can create magic in a group, but
Yeah.
I can see you creating that magic both with the student and with the family members, and then
Mhm.
helping them navigate that, because
Yeah.
sometimes they just become sort of at odds with one another.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was recently on a podcast, and I was saying that I recommend to a lot of the students and families that I'm working with, especially that junior and senior year, let's
Mhm.
put something on the calendar and let's discuss it. So we're not going to
Mm.
talk about college at every meal,
Yeah.
and every day and ad nauseum. Like, we're going to
Yeah.
discuss it here, and really say what we need to say and then move on,
Yeah.
because sometimes I think students are just like, I'm so tired of hearing about it. And also
Yes.
there's like truly decision fatigue
Yeah.
on making this decision. And then something you did mention, how acceptance rates are going down, and that's
Mhm.
certainly true. There's also this widespread, I'll say, issue of colleges closing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So it's both, right? I mean, it's almost like with the economy, like, is there a middle class anymore? It feels the same with colleges. There's the schools we all know that are super duper hard to get into. And then there are schools that not enough people are knowing about, applying to, whatever that looks like, that, yeah, I can't fill their seats. And I mean, there's going to be more and more closing. I mean, we're all sure of it. I mean, it's a numbers game, first of all, right? Less
Right.
students right now are graduating, and then less students find value, probably because financially, again, these prices, they're just different now than they
Yes.
were.
Yep.
So it's a numbers game, and plenty of schools aren't filling their seats anymore.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
So it's that balance between, plenty of schools have really low acceptance rates, and then
Uh-huh.
these other schools can't fill their seats.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
And like you said, I think that's why it's so important to not just focus on these top, whatever 50 schools, because there's all this fear around the process. And that, even the advice I give, sometimes I'll find myself advising a student about what classes to take. And then I do sometimes pause and say, and just to be clear, this is for those more reach schools. If that's not really, the conversation or where we're going, or maybe you just have one or two of those on your list, that's not the mainstream. The classes you're taking, the grades you're getting, the test scores you're receiving, you're going to be fine for the
Yeah.
vast majority of the schools in our country. And same with what you were saying of, the talking about it too much. I mean, yeah, their schools are talking about it, their neighbors. I mean, you sometimes, strangers, right? You meet someone and they realize, oh, you're a senior, where are you going to college? And man, it's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's there's examples of being an adult, things we don't want to answer all the time, over and over. And this is the one that they have to do. So
Right.
yeah,
Right.
it's a lot
I've
for them.
started saying, just me personally, and so, incorporating into coaching as well. But I've just started saying, what are your plans after graduation? And
Mm.
whatever it is, celebrating that, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
unless it's, sit on my parents' couch and play video games, which I've never
Yeah.
gotten that as an answer. But, I'm going to tech college. I'm going to take a year off, and I'm going to do whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
grand.
Yeah.
Have a plan.
Whatever it
That's,
is.
that's great. That's great.
Yeah, it should all be equally celebrated. I mean,
Yes.
truly, even again, and I keep thinking about that girl with her decision. It's like I want to celebrate, not literally more, because it should be equal, but there is a part of me that, probably the easy choice at first would have just been the dream school. She got in, she didn't think she'd get in, she got in, it's so exciting. But no, I mean, she really had to think through her options, think about her future, make a mature decision. And I
Mhm.
mean, yeah, she ended up at the state school, and like, ooh, like, it's why, it's an amazing school. It has the program she wants. It's super strong.
Yeah.
It should totally be celebrated, even if it wasn't, again, that top 20 ranked school. I mean, and
Right.
and and I think parents too, that's where we were talking, it's nice to have a third party, I think, helping their student with all of this. Because again, I'm not as emotional. They want to go to community college, they want to go to Stanford. I think whatever's best for them is
Yeah.
all I want for them. And I
Right.
think do truly in their hearts believe that too. But I don't think they realize sometimes even like micro mannerisms and stuff of the parent getting excited. Oh, we got something in heart from the mail from Harvard versus maybe another school that has, the no name school sent them something too.
Right.
It's like
Right.
I'm not here to tell a parent how to parent. I know they're doing it in love, but still sometimes just recognizing, well, the student picks up on that you
Yes.
reacted like that to Harvard and you
Yes.
act, you know,
Yes.
um,
Yes.
so yeah, I think a third
And it would be
party.
great for the parent to say, I'm reacting this way because it is a big deal, because it's well known and everybody in the country knows it. And also, people don't know that you're going to have to carry a whole bunch of debt. And
Right.
so while I'm celebrating this, I'm
Yeah.
not encouraging this because of whatever,
Mhm, mhm.
that's important. Well, I could literally talk to you for another hour because you're
Same.
amazing. And I so appreciate this time. And I just thank you for being who you are in the world. I thank you for being a bright light in the college consulting sphere. I thank you for the way that you do. It is both an art and science for you.
Mhm.
And that's very evident and very clear. So thank you for all that.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I feel the same way about you.
All right, debt free degree beloveds, this is Pontification with the Pro, and y'all can check out the YouTube channel for other installments. Until next time, see y'all. Bye bye.
Bye.